Truth you have. This video is about the truth. The truth about what is going on in the world. From my other videos, if you all watched human cloning or free will, you will know that there are different beings in the world. There are clones, and there are people walking around using images of someone that you might think is a loved one, but that image has been hijacked, and they're probably using that image to be deceitful to you. I will talk to you all about the images and what the ancients have done. And if you watch my video on Moses and the Israelites, I explain why the Most High took Moses' body after he died and hid it from the evil forces, because they were going to use his image to deceive the Israelites with, and the Most High did not want that. Therefore, he took his body and hid it. When this day and age, they took cloning to another level. They're making it so that there is many different types of control, and I will tell you that most of the people that I've met in the past few years have mostly all been chipped, RFID chipped. You can see them receiving messages in their ears and following whatever orders. They want to tell people that they have free will, and they don't, because if you're not able to express certain things, if you're not able to express love for someone, your free will has been hijacked. What's happening to you is that you're taking orders, and you have to get approval on what you do, how you spend your money, and sometimes places you go. It could even be more intense than that, because I'm not within certain societies. There are still secrets they're withholding. But I will tell you this: if you run into somebody or know somebody that's always trying to take you to McDonald's or want you to eat chocolate or any type of sweet stuff, ice cream, and they are putting junk into your system, what that does, especially with this artificial food that they're serving at a lot of these fast food restaurants, what that does is lower your frequency to where they can get in and program you. And if they do that through your food, the possibilities for them trying to ruin you from the inside out is a possibility for it happening. And it might sound ridiculous, it might sound outrageous, but if you look at a hamburger and it doesn't get old and it stays the same, and the same thing happens to the French fries, and it's not being degraded, it's staying the same for years, think about what it's doing when it's in your body. If it's not doing anything in the ether, and yet you digested it, and these people know that they can use these foods against you, you might not want to eat those foods as often. And if you do, maybe you shouldn't do it around certain people that are putting out these programs. And you can tell if someone's putting out a program by the way you behave, the way your thoughts are. If there's a different change and you know yourself and you're like, you know what, I know I don't do stuff like that, this is different. You need to differentiate who your friends are, who's around you. Look into these people's eyes to see if they have veins. These clones, a lot of them have big, bulky, glassy eyes. And I'm talking about the synthetic ones, the ones that are not human. And it's glassy, and you can see that they're not real, but they're still walking around and speaking and talking normally as if they're humans, but they are a computer walking around speaking to you. And hijacking an image is doing the same thing. If you clone them, then the person is fooled, and they don't know that the person in front of them is a clone, and it could be a relative of theirs. And I'm going to tell you what happens. If something like that does occur in your life, your emotions are going to change towards that person. That's what when I say know yourself and pay attention to yourself, most important thing is because your spirit, your soul is telling you something, your mind is telling you something, your spirit guides is communicating with you. And it is important to feel things and to notice that, all right, my uncle used to be this way, but he's way drastically different. Maybe they were away in another state for a while, or something has occurred in their life to make a huge change. And I'm not saying that personalities don't change, because people change, but be on the lookout for drastic changes, because that is a clear sign that this person in front of you is not that same genuine person. Now, it could be the same human being and they could be chipped. If they're chipped, it's as if they're a human clone anyway, because they're not able to make a choice using their free will. There's already limitations of free will, but when you have to literally take orders in your everyday life, it's a huge distraction. And our bodies are supposed to naturally be able to communicate with telepathy. We're supposed to be able to speak to someone without even speaking to them. And what they told these people is you get upgraded by getting a chip, and now you have these certain abilities. You might have those abilities if you get chipped, but we're moving towards you're supposed to be able to do it naturally. And real soon, some of those secrets that they have hidden will be revealed, because some of them are already coming to light. And therefore, you don't need to believe that you need some type of computer chip or RFID chip to be able to connect. These devices are here to remind us of what we can do naturally. And yes, they are useful, because the foods that have been genetically modified have been modified. Therefore, the nutrients that the human body needs, it's not there like it was before. And it lowers the frequency if you eat too many of them. Same thing with fast foods. You have to think about what you're putting into your bodies. Take care of yourselves. I'm not saying be a vegetarian. If you are, that's good for you. I'm saying do what is comfortable. Begin to cook your own foods. And if you do go out to nice restaurants, have fun. Enjoy yourself. But when it comes to a lot of these restaurants that you see them promoting on TV, they're there to implement a plan that is not congruent with a full happiness. If you take a religion doctrine and you insert don't eat catfish, don't eat shrimp, don't eat lobster, and to these enemies, the ones that have developed these things so that there is a contrast, they're trying to use that against you. Even if some people have not fully read and comprehended the Bible, they're still trying to make you do something that goes against what you so-called believe in. And in the Bible, it does say clean foods and unclean foods, what to eat and what not to eat. And if you say you're a Christian, well, these people, they think you're sinning against your God because you're eating these foods. And now they're there to say, oh, now we need to do this or do that to you, because in their eyes, you're sinning. And the whole religious thing is a repetitive force that has been used for thousands of years to confuse, to separate, and to keep the control going in the human realm, to keep the control so that there is a reason to have separation, so that there's a reason for disagreement. And there are many great things about reading a book that has information in it that can be helpful, because they hide things in plain sight. But when you fully dive into a belief that is not congruent with what is really going on in the world, you're hindering yourselves. If you all are hardcore churchgoers, and I used to be, but I awakened from that spell because I had opportunities to do research on other religions and other facts, and I couldn't comprehend why all Buddhists were not going to be able to get into heaven because they believed something different from a Christian. To me, that didn't make sense. And so I started to dig deeper and to find out what is really going on. These messages, these videos are to help you all do research, uplift yourselves, and become more enlightened. There are people that will need you all when you awaken, and they're going to need to hear words that are necessary. And when you look at my videos, please continue to make sure that you stay on a high flying frequency that does not make your frequency lower. My videos will talk to you, speak to you about that in my videos. I will speak to you about that, in my videos, and the videos will actually give you some insight on what is going on in the world. All of these things that I speak about are to help all of us wake up.